Well, welcome to this month's webinar on AI implementation best practices. And today we're looking at the two sides of AI implementation, the fact that it is both a risk and an opportunity for small and medium-sized businesses. We're looking specifically this month at the use case for electrical co-ops and utilities. And we're going to cover the main issues that we see where people trip up on their AI implementation, why we need to treat AI as a change management program, not an IT project, the three questions that every business leader must answer before they commit any resources to an AI implementation. We will share with you the 7-step framework that we use for reducing risk in AI implementation. And we'll also show you the Sonar framework, which we use to help our clients establish their state of readiness in preparation for implementing AI in their business. And also we'll look at what the best practices are, who's falling behind and who's pulling ahead, and what you could be doing in the next 30 days to get started on AI in your business. So just to introduce myself, my name's David Walters. I'm the principal consultant for AI orchestration in small and medium-sized businesses. I'm a chartered engineer by training. I started my career in the submarine service of the Royal Navy, and then I was the first lieutenant of the nuclear submarine disposal group. I moved across to the Canadian Forces, where I held several roles in combat systems and technical leadership for the Canadian Submarine Service. And after that, I worked in nuclear utilities as both an emergency management and security consultant before moving over to the corporate world, where I specialized in crisis management and project recovery. So this is the third webinar in our series. Each one standalone. The first one we called Damned If You Do, Damned If You Don't. The second one was You Don't Know What You Don't Know. And so this webinar today brings us to the staging point for moving forward. Once we've created awareness as to the problems with AI implementation, this webinar is designed to give you some best practices and some tangible steps that you can take quickly to move forward with implementing AI in your business. So, as I said, in my background, I worked as a crisis management consultant, and the definition that we used for a crisis with our corporate clients was any unplanned event that has major consequences for the organization and cannot be resolved within normal day-to-day operations. So using that definition, AI implementation is a crisis for most small and medium-sized businesses. And the Chinese character for crisis is made up of two words, danger and opportunity. And that's where we believe we are today with AI. If you try and implement AI without being ready, you stand into danger. And I'll show you some of the statistics on this in a second. If, however, you grasp AI implementation as an opportunity to retool and really rework your business, it's a huge opportunity to come out as a segment leader in your industry. This appeared on LinkedIn earlier today, actually, and it gives us a very clear graphic of the problems that people have with AI implementation. Lots of companies, 88% of companies have bought AI tools. Only 66% of companies actually take those tools and run a pilot. And then from there, only half of those actually build an agent specific to their company. From that 33%, only 23% actually get to the position where they can scale the agents. And only 6% of businesses actually succeed in transforming their business with AI. And the statistics are equally damning when it comes to successful AI implementation. 95% of AI pilots fail to deliver any value to the P&L. 74% of executives state that they've regretted at least one decision they've made in the last 18 months, and 50% of those fear for their job in the future. If we look at a higher level, the Gartner are saying that 40% of agentic AI projects will be cancelled by 2027, and that's up from 17% last year. And the big red flashing warning that I want to emphasize to everybody is this concept of agentic procurement or machine commerce. And the projection from Gartner is that by 2028, 90% of B2B commercial transactions will be run agentically. And that's a $15 trillion market. And if your business is not tooled up to participate in that agentic marketplace, your company will not be disadvantaged. It will actually be completely shut out. You'll be invisible in the marketplace, and you will see a massive reduction in market share. So let's look at some of the use cases that a rural electric co-op could apply to start their AI implementation journey. The first one is workforce knowledge capture. I saw a statistic that 35% of experienced workers in the utility communities would be eligible for retirement in the next 3 to 5 years. That is a huge loss of corporate experience. So by carefully implementing AI today to give the staff the tools they need to make their jobs easier, you can start to capture their experience and start to capture the lessons that they've learned over their years working in the utility business. And that corporate knowledge then becomes an asset to the co-op to help when new staff with less experience are inevitably brought on board. The next area where it's an essential win for the co-op or for the small business is supply chain automation. I mentioned shortly a little while ago that 90% of B2B commerce will be done agentically. And if you are not in that agentic marketplace, you will be invisible for all the procurement activity that's going on. Another area that we're working with a electrical co-op is looking at agentification for automated crew dispatch. And this is a great way to get engagement and to get participation from the staff. And it also is a natural lead in to this workforce knowledge capture. And then eventually you can use the analytical capability of AI for predictive asset maintenance. Now, I don't recommend that you go straight into connecting AI to your operating systems. These would all be connected to your information technology platform, but they give you the ability to start using AI to get confident with it before you risk any connection to any operating systems. And then obviously demand forecasting and cybersecurity are bigger issues that would need to be addressed as you fully agentify your business operations. So one of the biggest mistakes that people make is they believe that AI can fix anything. Well, that's not true. And what we find is people that implement AI without the necessary governance and guardrails suffer project failure very, very quickly. So we tell our clients that AI is an amplifier, not a fixer. And it will amplify in your business whatever is going on. So if you have good processes and good procedures, AI will amplify that and make your business better. If your procedures are broken or rely on lots of human workaround, then you will amplify failure at an equally quick rate. So here are the 3 questions that we recommend every leader who is considering AI for their business must answer before they commit any significant resource to the problem. Question number 1, what are the operational conditions that strengthen or weaken your ability to deploy AI today? Where are you now? The next question, what is your desired end state for implementing AI in your co-op? You may not need to go to full autonomous agentification to get value from the program. or you may have a desire to strike towards that goal and then really get ahead of the rest of the pack in the way that you run and operate your REC. And the third question, which is a very logical transition between those two previous questions, is what is your plan for leading your co-op or business to the desired end state? So until you've answered those three questions at a leadership level, we don't recommend that you do any major commitment to implementing AI, because if you do, you will end up in that very high failure rate, the 94, 95% failure rate. So AI is not an IT project. AI implementation is a corporate change management program. And as I said, AI doesn't fix weak operating models, it amplifies them. So if you're already in a position where you've got consistent execution, you've got good processes and procedures, your decision making is clearly known and understood, you are empowering your line workers and your experienced staff, and you have a plan to capture knowledge and create a knowledge base before you lose all the experienced personnel, AI is a great tool to help with that. And it can then ultimately help you improve your response planning and your outage response to improve the key metrics for the REC. However, if you have been working with poor quality data, you're relying on human intervention to get things done. If you haven't got a proper integration with your systems, and the governance and the oversight and the decision making is weak, these will all compound and be amplified to give you a problem when you launch AI in your business. So as I said, AI is something that you need to be seriously looking at if you're going to remain competitive in the next 2 to 3 years. But if you commit to AI implementation without having done the groundwork, you will be setting yourself up for failure. So to help with this, what we have done is we've created a 7-step framework for risk reduction in your AI implementation program. And this is what I'll be stepping through now in this section to show you the 7 steps that we recommend all small businesses adopt to improve the chance of a successful AI implementation and to move out of that 95% failure rate into the 4 or 5% of companies that actually successfully implement AI and then gain the benefits from that. So the 7 layers to AI implementation are, first of all, define the business value. And this is where the opportunity comes in. If you are going to go through the process of preparing yourself for effective AI implementation, the first thing is your value proposition. What value do you bring to the marketplace? What are your external values, both tangible and intangible? And what are the components? What are the departments? What are the processes in your organization that actually create that value that you present to the marketplace? Once you understand the value proposition, you have an opportunity to refine and improve that to position yourself for future success after the AI program has been implemented. We ask you to look at your processes. So what are the high value processes that are ripe for AI augmentation? And once you've identified those, that gives us the opportunity to then go to the next step, which is to break the process down into a clear workflow that can be used for the design of your AI system. Now, the next step is a very firm quality gate, and we strongly urge you not to go through this gate if your data is not effectively set up to support agent installation in your business. And this is where the first cracks appear in AI projects. When there's the initial rush of enthusiasm, there's all the optimism that AI tools will help you work faster, work more efficiently, improve your outcomes. But then when the data falters and you're not able to run the AI effectively, then the program starts to fail, the credibility from the staff wanes, the cost rise, the governance questions emerge, and then all sorts of problems happen that will trip up your project. And this is why, as I say, currently we're anticipating 40% of AI programs to be abandoned between now and 2027. However, once you pass through that quality gate, then we come to the first agent. And what we recommend is don't try and boil the ocean. Don't try and fix everything at the same time. Choose one or possibly two very high value pilots, build them out, use them for human augmentation. Don't try and replace your workers with AI from the get-go. Use them to augment and to empower your workforce so that you can get better value and better job satisfaction from your team, because you take away the mundane, the routine, the administrivia that frustrates many experienced workers, and allow them to focus on the really high value added activities that their experience can bring to your organization. Once you've got your first agent properly deployed, we then look at user adoption. And what we want to see is high adoption among the target workforce, among the target work group, so that they can then help refine and help develop the AI model so that you get the results that you want without the risk that comes from uncontrolled AI implementation. So once you've built your first agent, we then go to the next phase, which we call HITL, human in the loop. This is an essential governance stage where every AI output is checked and validated by an experienced human operator to make sure that the AI is delivering to you the expected outcomes. Once you have got the HITL working, the next gate above that is what we call HOTL, human over the loop. And this is where we link a number of AI agents together and have the human governance and the human oversight focus on the eventual outcome, not on the individual steps in the process. And then once that is done, we're looking at agentification. And this is where you can start to push for autonomous AI behavior. And you can look at expanding the AI implementation across multiple areas in your business. So just to go in a bit more detail about HITL and HOTL, human in the loop, the AI agent is designed to do a specific task. The output of that task is then reviewed and verified by an experienced human operator, and then that output is released to the next agent in the sequence. The agent then executes that task, the task that it's been created and trained for. The next experienced human operator, again, validates the output. And if there are weaknesses, then you can feed back to the AI designer, to the agent designer, to improve and refine the behavior of the agent. And once that is done and the output from the sequence of agents is repeatable and reliable, then you can move to the next phase, which we call human over the loop. And as we say, this progression must be earned. You can't just say, well, we'll run HITL for a few weeks and then we'll go to HOTL. You have to do the validation. You have to do the governance. You have to do the proving to make sure that your agents are actually capable and competent of being linked together to give you that end-to-end workflow. Once you've earned that quality gate, you then move to HOTL, where the human supervision checks the output of a sequence of agentic actions. And this is a major achievement. Most businesses do not achieve this state, but they keep pushing ahead for agentification. And that's when the governance fails. It's when the lack of valuable output occurs. It's when the costs start to increase as you end up reworking activities that you should have fixed before you got into long, complex chains. In one of the previous webinars, we mentioned the findings from IBM that it takes anywhere between 10 and 1,000 times more cost to fix a problem after it's been deployed than it does during the validation phase. So these are two critical quality gates that we insist our clients go through to protect them from downstream failure when they come to move forward to the full agentification, which is the goal of their program. So we said there are three critical questions. The first one is, where are you now? Well, we've created what we call the SONAR framework. And the SONAR framework looks at 5 key business pillars. Strategic leadership. Is the leadership team aligned to manage what is a long and potentially expensive corporate change management program? Is the data ready for agentification? If your data is tribal knowledge and it's not managed and the data is not easily and readily accessible to the team, it won't be accessible to the agents in a coherent manner, and your system will fail. Do you have normalized operations? Do you have standard workflows? Do your processes follow a standard way of working? If they don't, if it's done on historical, we've always done it this way, that is a red flag, and we would recommend that you do not move towards agentification until you've addressed that. Are your people aligned? A statistic I read just a couple of weeks ago, only 15% of employees in the US said that they were aware of their corporation strategy for implementing AI in their business. And I think it was 42% of Gen X employees, millennial employees admitted to sabotaging their corporation's AI implementation plans because of what has been termed FOBO, fear of becoming obsolete. Now, again, it goes back to the grounding principle. We say to our clients, do not look at AI as an excuse for reducing headcount. That will cause you very, very serious problems in the very short term. I think something like 60 or 70% of businesses that laid off people because of AI ended up rehiring them within 2 months of letting them go. So using AI as an excuse for headcount reduction is a recipe for disaster. So you need to align your people, you need to win the confidence of your team, and you need to present AI and agentification as a way of empowering your human workforce so that they buy in, so that you get the user adoption, so that you get the people willing to work at that supervisory level while you go through the HITL and HOTL quality gates for your program. And the final area of your business process that we assess is your risk and compliance. Do you have the cybersecurity governance in place? Do you have the checks and balances? Do you have the controls which allow you to move forward with AI implementation without setting yourself up for all sorts of problems with implementation when you go to full agentification? So the SONAR framework tells you where you are today. The next framework we offer is CATS, which is the Corporate AI Transformation System, and that helps you build your roadmap for where you want to get to. So organizational transformation. You've heard me now say several times, effective AI implementation is not an IT project. It is a corporate change management program. And you are looking at reworking and redesigning your workflows to allow AI agents to operate them in a safe and effective manner. And this is where most small businesses and where electrical cooperatives would lose significantly if this corporate culture is not addressed as part of your transformation program. So the world expert on corporate change management is a gentleman called John Kotter. He's a professor at the Harvard Business School, And he states that it takes between 3 and 10 years to truly institutionalize a corporate change management program. And he's come up with what he calls the 8 accelerators of change management. The first one is to create a sense of urgency. This goes to that leadership, that vision, that selling the program to the team. Then you build your guiding coalition, and this would need your C-level buy-in of the various executives in the department, but also the buy-in of the workforce, of the managers, because everybody will be affected by your AI objective. You then need a guiding vision. Where are you trying to take your company or your utility so that AI empowers the organization, AI benefits the organization, and it's not just a project that will spend a lot of time and money and give you no real benefits for the organization. The fourth accelerator is enlist a volunteer army. Again, it's about people, it's about culture, it's about creating that internal momentum to deliver this program effectively so that it is properly institutionalized and doesn't just wither away when the pressure from the board or from the executive team is taken off. You need to get adoption. You need to get users who believe in the vision. You need to get users who are willing to work towards that vision so that they are then amenable to the rework, the process rework that will be necessary to remove the barriers from AI adoption. Obviously, it's very difficult to maintain momentum if you don't see value or you don't see benefit for months or years. So again, the sixth accelerator that John Kotter teaches is to generate short-term wins. And this is where we recommend start with a single AI agent that you know you can build, you know you can deliver successfully, and you know will provide real benefit to the workforce so that you get that buy-in, you get that confidence from the team so that they will support you over the duration of this implementation program. And as I said, John Kotter tells us it's 3 years minimum to institutionalize a change management program. But once you get that first win, you then are able to sustain the acceleration of your program so that you can then move to the next agent and the next agent. And then you can begin to build the agentic system that you can take from hittle to hottle to position you for successful autonomous AI operation within your business. And number 8 is to institute change. And this institutional change goes right back to your initial vision for your business. Why are you implementing AI and what is the outcome you intend to get from it? So we mentioned before that you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If you rush into AI and don't do the groundwork, you will set yourself up for failure. You will disrupt your operations. You will spend a lot of money. You'll waste a lot of executive time on not achieving a viable or a profitable outcome. If you don't implement AI, as I said before, with the agentic procurement that's coming down the road, you run the risk of being shut out of 90% of the B2B procurement market. So standing still is not a viable option. You will be left behind and you will not be profitable or commercially viable within the next 3 or 4 years. So you have to move forward with AI, but my recommendation is you must only move forward with it when you have done the groundwork and when you are ready. So rushing into AI is a recipe for disaster. Not attempting to adopt AI is going to cause you long-term negative effects on your business or your utility. So the performance gap that we're seeing when corporations implement AI effectively, they position themselves for the value add of autonomous capability. In the co-op environment, we can see that this would give us reduced unplanned outages and improved response time for adverse events. You can use the generative AI capability for predictive maintenance to extend asset life. And of course, this is a major issue for many rural electrical co-ops. And then as there is more pressure from regulators to develop AI, to adopt AI, you can be strengthened and you're not forced into a hasty AI project that will have a very high level of failure. And then obviously, once you demonstrate to the marketplace that you are adopting AI correctly, you will be more open to receive the funding that you would need to continue the evolution. If you are stuck in analysis paralysis, if you are struggling with day-to-day outage operations, if you're relying on manual dispatch and manual operations, you'll be left behind as other cooperatives and other organizations do successfully implement AI. So it's not a case that you can just put your head in the sand and hope it all goes away. AI is not going away. It is here to stay, and you have to adopt it and implement it effectively if you are going to be successful in the future. So this is what we would recommend for the next 30 days to help you get a head start with your AI corporate change management program. The first one is to conduct a readiness assessment of those 5 areas of your business to get a very clear and honest picture where you are in relation to your ability to commit to the project. Build that guiding coalition. If you're struggling to get people to buy into the project, then you know you will have problems when you come to implement. So building that guiding coalition, selling the vision is a critical step that you need to do before you commit your corporation or your business to AI. You need governance over all aspects of this program. If you let the governance go, once you go for more complex AI agentification, you will find that there will be more and more cracks and weaknesses in the output that will eventually cause you serious problems. And then you need to do the foundational work, data cleanliness, standardization of processes and procedures, training for the staff in the new way of working. This is going to be a major commitment, and it's going to take a lot of corporate effort to deliver. So this is where you need to make sure that you understand the level of effort before you build the first agent, and then get the commitment, both financial and from labor and from your team, to put that effort in to prepare for agentification. And the final step is to plan, come up with a deployment strategy where you can scale deliberately. So moving slowly and successfully is a much better option than rushing in to try and install a whole load of AI tools that eventually will grind to a halt when the whole system does not work effectively together. So this is what we call the Sonar framework. This is the first step. We're happy to send you a copy of the framework for free. And if you just let us know in the comments or contact us directly, we can arrange to get this to you. So Sonar, again, just to reiterate, strategic leadership. Is the leadership team aligned on this initiatives? Do you have operational data that is of sufficient quality and accessibility to make an agent run effectively? Are your operating procedures normalized? Do you have standard ways of doing business that you can train an agent to do repeatably and reliably? Do you have alignment with your personnel in your workforce to commit to supporting this initiative and helping you bring it through to fruition? And do you have, finally, risk? Do you have the governance and the controls in place to allow you to make that commitment? That's what you would get from a Sonar assessment, the executive readiness assessment. And that's the first thing we would recommend you do before you spend any more time or effort on pondering your AI initiative. So we've created a series of white papers. We have one specifically for rural electric co-ops. And if you want a copy of this, just let us know. We'll be happy to send it to you. And this will give you a summary of everything we've talked about on today's webinar and what you need to do to start moving forward with AI implementation in your cooperative. And the same principles apply to all small and medium-sized businesses. So although we wrote this one specifically for rural electrical co-ops, we actually have two other white papers, one of them more generic for small and medium-sized industrial businesses, and the third one very specific on AI procurement, agentic procurement, because that is probably the biggest single risk you are facing in the B2B procurement space today. So we have three white papers. We're happy to share them with you. Just let us know which version you want, and we would send that over to you with our blessings. So if you want to discuss this further, we're offering a complimentary 30-minute executive diagnostic call. You can book this directly with us, and we'd be happy to talk to you to answer any questions that you may have about how to start your AI initiative, or if you've committed to it and you're struggling to implement it, how you can recover your initiative and get it to the strategic goal that you're looking at. If you want to go straight in for the executive readiness assessment, you can also book that with us, and I'd be happy to work with you to do the analysis and write you the report, which you can use as a foundation for your AI initiative moving forward. So if there are any questions, I'm happy to take them now. I know Susan's been asking people to put questions in the chat. We don't seem to have anyone, so we will start to close this here. What I would like to do is just to give you the opportunity to download some of those reports. So if you want the Sonar self-assessment, just scan the QR code and it will take you to the download link. If you would like to book the strategy discussion with me, again, that's a different QR code, but it takes you straight to the booking form. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have about what you need to do to prepare for a successful AI implementation, or if you're already committed and you're finding that the project isn't moving the way you expected it to, I'm happy to see how you can be positioned to recover your project. This link here is for the white papers. So we have them on our website. So if you scan that link, it will take you through to our resources page on the website, and you can download the white paper that's most applicable for your use case. And as we said, this is a series of informational webinars that we're going to run for the rest of this year. This is number 3 in the sequence. And the June webinar, we're actually going to get into some of the detailed operating functions and work on some use cases. So the June webinar will be on what we call the anchor system, and that is the tool that we recommend you use to make sure that you de-risk your AI project, your AI program, so that you can be much more assured of a successful outcome. So please do take benefit, do take advantage of these resources. They're made to help you join the 6% of businesses that successfully implement AI in their organizations and avoid the loss and failure that regrettably 95% of businesses and electrical co-ops are currently facing from AI initiatives that are built on a weak foundation. So that's all that I have for you for this month. As I said, next month we will go through the 7-step process to take the risk out of your AI program so that you can be set up for success. So again, thank you for your time. I appreciate everybody who stayed with us to the end. And any questions that arise from this webinar, please contact us. We're more than happy to answer any questions. And if you would like to book that 30-minute executive discussion, more than happy to spend time with you and answer any questions you have. So my name is David Walters. I am the principal consultant for AI orchestration for Steam Powered Consulting, and I'm hoping to give you all the information you need for a successful AI corporate change management program. Thanks for your time, and I look forward to speaking with you and working with you next month.